So hello everyone and welcome to our 5th video in conversational Japanese. Now if you recall, in our first 4 videos we went over the first 10 letters of the Japanese alphabet and some simple words and phrases using those letters. But in this video I wanted to go off from that a little bit and do something else. And what I wanted to do is start including some simple phrases that are commonly used in Japanese. And I wanted to start out with greetings. And the first greeting that I wanted to start out with is good morning, which in Japanese is Ohayo gozaimasu. Now it does use letters that go beyond the first 10 letters of the Japanese alphabet that we cover, but I figured by this time you're starting to get some understanding of how Japanese letters and their pronunciations work. And so we will be covering some of these other letters later on, but I wanted to start including these phrases that might be more useful to you. So once again, the greeting for good morning in Japanese is Ohayo gozaimasu. And it consists of 2 words, Ohayo and gozaimasu. Now, Ohayo is the fundamental foundation statement for good morning. What gozaimasu is it takes that statement and makes it a much more formal type of statement. Okay, so let's first look at the word Ohayo. Now that word consists of 4 Japanese letters. They are O, Ha, Yo, and U. So when you combine them, they become Ohayo or Ohayo when you say it faster. Now oftentimes if you use English letters to write this word, they often use the spelling O-H-A-Y-O-U. And when you read that, people often tend to pronounce it Ohayo. But it's not pronounced that way, and please refrain from pronouncing it like the name of a state in the Midwestern United States. It's Ohayo, not Ohio. Okay, so next we could look at the word gozaimasu. And that consists of 5 Japanese letters, and they are the letters go, the letter za, the letter i, the letter ma, and the letter su. So if you put it together, it's gozaimasu. One more time. Gozaimasu. Say it faster. Gozaimasu. 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 Now, oftentimes Westerners pronounce this as gozaimasu because if you use the Western letters for this, the ending ends with a MAS. And so they end up saying mas instead of masu. And if they end it with a MASU, then they say masu instead of masu. So either way, it doesn't give the right pronunciation. And so it's best to, again, go with the Japanese letters instead. So take the letters go, za, I, ma, su, and put them together to put gozaimasu. Okay, so when you combine the 2 words together, it becomes Ohayo gozaimasu. Now, as mentioned, the basic meaning of good morning is in the word Ohayo, and gozaimasu is there to make it more formal. If you wanted to know a rough translation of that, that would mean something like it is, and so you're kind of saying it is a good morning. But the basic interpretation of the phrase is a formalized version of good morning. Now the question is when do you say Ohayo and when do you say Ohayo gozaimasu? And that all depends upon how formal you want to be. So let me give you an example. Let's say you were a youth exchange student going to Japan, since that is often a time when you start practicing conversational Japanese. And after you meet your family the night before, you get up in the morning and you meet your host parents in the morning down at the kitchen. Then of course you would say Ohayo gozaimasu because you want to be formal. Now, they may reply by saying Ohayo to you because they want to create a much more informal atmosphere in their house. But you should wait for them to create an informal situation before you start lightening up on your formalities. So in the beginning, it's probably best to say Ohayo gozaimasu to your host parents. On the other hand, for your host brothers and sisters, especially after you get to know them, they'll feel very uncomfortable if you keep on saying Ohayo gozaimasu to them because it's so formal. And they'll probably be not only saying Ohayo to you, but they will probably say it in a much more informal way, which is to take the u and drop it and take the yo and stretch it. So instead of Ohayo, you start saying Ohayo, And so, you could start answering by saying Ohayo to everybody as well in the family once you get to know them better and the situation becomes more informal. Now, on the other hand, for example, if you were to meet the director of the youth exchange program and it was the morning, then you will go back to saying Ohayo gozaimasu. So again, it all depends upon the situation. In some situations, it's better to say it more formally, and in others where you're much more familiar with the people, then you could go not only to saying Ohayo alone, but you could actually stretch out the yo and say Ohayo the way they would actually say it to you. Okay, so this concludes this video on conversational Japanese. Now we'll be going over more phrases and more greetings in the future, but to keep it as painless as possible, I will be only focusing on one phrase at a time and then deconstructing it in detail as we did here. I hope you find these videos quite informative, and I hope you continue to join us in our conversational Japanese adventure. We thank you very much for watching this video, and if you have any comments, please post them in the comments section below. And until the next time, we wish you all the best, and as always, Jaya, nice day, everyone.